welcome to this short video clip. It demonstrates one way of navigating through project evidence. This is a scenario I'm about to navigate. I'm taking the role of a mentor teacher in a primary school. It is my first meeting with my pre-service teacher, who I'll call Jane. We're discussing what my role is in working with her. Together, we will navigate our way through project evidence. On the project evidence screen along the top, we have the different, what I will call different tabs, indicating the different areas within project evidence site. Because I'm going to be discussing with Jane and clarifying with her what my role is, first of all, I'm going to professional roles. And scrolling down, I'll see that the most, or a good starting spot, not necessarily the most logical, but one starting spot is mentoring pre-service teachers on Pratt. And as I go into this, I can discuss with Jane the key dimensions that are graphically represented there and that are defined below. Those dimensions are around curriculum design, teaching and professional support. And within each of those areas, I'll be able to clarify with Jane what my responsibilities are, and then in a later meeting what hers are. So I'll be telling Jane, or discussing with Jane, what curriculum design will mean in terms of her development at this stage of her pre-service, and what I'll be looking for in terms of outcomes and growth in curriculum design during the placement. We'll also talk about teaching and some of the particular strategies that she might use. So if we're talking about, for example, the third dot point, answering questions, I'd also talk about the sorts of leading questions that she might be already contemplating using and how they might be further developed and so forth. Creating a supportive learning environment likewise. What are the particular strategies that she needs help with, and and what is my role in helping her development. Below this particular section of the site is an activity, and you'll know that there are many activities throughout the site. And here we have several videos, one of Eric and one of Candice. And I would choose one of those two videos and view it with Jane as a springboard again into what I need to be doing to support her as a mentor. Clearly, one of my roles will be to make sure that I'm assessing her on the graduate standards, and so we need to be very clear about what they are. So I take as an example Graduate Standard 2.2, and there's a link there on project evidence. So going into the standards, scrolling down and finding 2.2 where it indicates for a graduate that I'm expecting, or I need to be working with her, to organise content into an effective learning and teaching sequence. So that encapsulates what my expectation is and how I'll be assessing her ultimately during this placement. Go back up to the other tab, to professional roles, and continue to work through that activity with Jane. And there are some suggestions there about other techniques and strategies that mentors have found very helpful in working with pre-service teachers. So again, there's room there for us to converse and to develop our conversation. Having talked about the roles as they are there, I would then go to something which is perhaps what was always the concern of a pre-service teacher, and that is around making judgments. And of course, Jane will know that ultimately I will be making judgments about her development during the placement, and so I can talk to her and be very frank about what informs the sorts of decisions that I'll be making, about the reliability of those judgments and how they're informed. And again, I can go through here with her on the site some of the areas that we'll need to explore in order that I make judgments that are fair, that are accountable and that are linked with her particular context within the prac. So making judgments, and I could have just scrolled down there, but instead of that I've gone back up to the top and come down to context matters, which is the final point I'd like to make with Jane, and that is to really emphasise that everything depends on the context, not just of the school, of course, but in terms of where she's at. So it's about her context within her pre-service degree, and it's from the school context as well. And on that point, we can finish on a very positive note in having further discussion around those sorts of issues, so that I don't end on a note which is at all threatening, that it's about collaborative practice and about our working together. And this will lead in for further conversations at a further time where we can discuss her role and the expectations we have around that, and again, our collaboration. So in this short snippet, and in summary, we have, in discussing my role as a mentor teacher with Jane, we have together navigated through these areas of project evidence. So first we went to professional roles, then drilled down into mentoring pre-service teachers, and then did an activity. From that we skipped across to professional standards and looked very briefly at graduate standard 2. Then we talked about making judgments and the fact that contexts matter in terms of the judgments that are made. And on that note, I'll leave you, and thanks for listening, and see you next time.